Hi everyone, Unimis here, back for another weekly update of my 1 year self-study and self-improvement journey. This week was all about steady progress, there were no big surprises, but honestly that's a win in itself, right? Consistency is key. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm documenting my progress in language learning, academics, fitness, and so much more. Be sure to check out the playlist in the description to see the previous weekly updates. Here's what we are diving into today. First, I'll break down what I've studied this week and how much time I have spent studying for each subject. After that, I will give you my study totals, my fasting time, and my weight loss update. And finally, the reading part where I will go through the books that I read this week. Sounds good? Let's get started with Japanese. This week in Japanese, I've tackled lesson 7, which was titled Locations from the Japanese from 01 book. I've learned how to use the words from the doko word group, and these words are doko, koko, sasoko, and soko, and they are really useful if you ever get lost in Japan and you need directions. I also learned around 5 new hiragana this week, and the hiragana that I learned were ma, mi, mu, me, and mo. And I also learned 15 new words. I spent 5 hours studying Japanese this week. The biggest challenge currently is memorizing all of the words. I've been grinding through the Quizlet flashcards to memorize them all. So if you have any better idea how to memorize the words or generally memorize the vocab, let me know down in the comments. And that's it for Japanese. Let's move on to math. For math, I'm still working through the college algebra book by Blitzer. I've finished the model applications chapter or model applications section. I thought it was really easy at first, but then I realized that I will have to convert word problems into math models and everything fell apart. Thankfully, I finished that section and now I'm moving on to the complex numbers section. I already started it and finished some of the exercises, and all in all, I spent 5 hours on math this week. And that's about it for math. Let's move on to computer science. This week in computer science, I finished week 7 of the CS50's Introduction to Computer Science, which was all about SQL. Thankfully, I have some experience with SQL already, so it was really a breeze. Problem sets were really fun and really interesting because they were based on real-world data. You had to use IMDb movie data and the Spotify movie data to finish the exercises. The final problem set was really cool. It was like solving a mystery. I had to use only SQL queries on the data that was given to me in order to find out who committed a crime. Since all of this was kind of really easy for me, I spent only 3.5 hours this week on computer science. So yeah, and the final subject was cybersecurity, so let's move on to that. I'm still preparing for the AZ500 Microsoft Security Engineer exam using the Microsoft Learn resources. If all goes well, I will probably schedule the exam next week and then we'll see what happens. In all, I spent 4 hours studying cybersecurity this week. If anyone watching has completed the exam, please let me know down in the comments some last minute tips and tricks that helped you pass the exam. And that's it. Let's move on to the study totals and the fitness updates. On the fitness side of things, I fasted for 119 hours and lost 0.5 kilograms. In total, from the start of the year, I've lost 7.3 kilograms and fasted for 836 hours. Not bad really. I started to look into some kind of workouts, but probably I will do it in a month or two when my weight is at a more manageable level. This week was exciting on the reading front, so I finished The Shining book by Stephen King. It's a pretty hefty book. It took me a week and a half to finish it. At the start, I didn't really like it because there were too many flashbacks and too many character developments, if you want to call them that way. But after that, it became really good. And this is why I figured out why King is called the King of Suspense. So after wrapping up The Shining, I started reading Doctor Sleep, which is the sequel to that book. The book is somewhere around here because I usually keep it near my couch or bed if I'm reading it currently. It's a pretty big book, so it will take me a week and a half to finish it probably. But in the meantime, I read Tokyo Ghoul Volume 6. Between those books, It's still a really good series. The story is gripping as ever. We'll see how it develops. Hopefully, one day I will know enough Japanese in order to read the same books in Japanese. And that's it. All in all, I spent 6 hours reading this week. And that's a wrap for this week. Smooth sailing, nothing really happened, and still progress is progress. Soon I will finish the CS50 course and I will need to replace it with a new course. And I'm probably thinking piano lessons, but I will need to see how the schedule will work. And I will, of course, update you about that also. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like it. If you want to follow along, please subscribe. And if you have any kind of questions or tips, or you want to answer some questions that I posed in this video, please comment down below. The next update is scheduled for March 3rd. And of course, if you don't see a video then, it means I failed, but hopefully I didn't. That's it. Stay consistent, keep learning, and I'll see you guys in the next one.